Hey guys, welcome to Work Life Glue, where we like to document our work-life balance as two working parents. It has been quite a while since we've done a Q&A, especially on our channel. We've done a few live ones over, it's been a while on there too, but on our, in my Work Life Glue Moms group, we've done some. So if you're not part of that on Facebook, check it out. But we have had kind of a crazy week of illness and stuff, so we're not having our normal weekly prep video up today. Instead, we're going to do a Q&A, and I asked for questions and on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and you guys came through. So we're going to try to answer as many of these as possible. I grouped them starting with baby-related questions, since that's something new that's going on for us right now, then marriage, parenting, personal questions, YouTube questions, and then ending with daycare. So if you just want to know the daycare ones, fast forward. This will be a very long video. I don't think I'm gonna cut it into parts.
We've been wanting to do a Q&A for a while. We like these longer videos.
So
just
it's
to kind
fun.
of chat.
And you guys don't get to see us together a lot, just sitting and talking without kids running around. Right. Our very first section is baby. So when is our due date? Do you know?
The end of August is all I'm gonna say.
Because you don't know?
Like 23rd?
August 20th. And how is my pregnancy going? Well, I don't want to jinx anything, but it was really rough from Christmas week until like a week ago. And now I'm currently 15 weeks as I'm filming this. I'll be 16 weeks by the time this video's out, but I'm feeling better, a lot better. Like, I have energy, I can get through the day. We went out to eat at night yesterday, which is the first time we've done that, because normally my nausea is really bad at night. And I had like an oriental,
of all things,
an oriental like, chicken wrap, and they didn't do the crispy chicken like I wanted, but I still ate it, so that's all like really good signs. So it's looking up, knock on wood. I just hope it stays that way, because it feels good to finally be myself again. Do both girls understand that there will be another baby in the house full time?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they understand. They keep saying, like, Bryony, oh baby, mommy's tell me, and Celia's just has been through this once before, so you know, she
Celia
understands.
For sure understands, because she has done it before. Bryony gets the concept of it. You know, I don't think she'll fully grasp the weight of it all till the baby comes, but she's definitely like calling the baby by name and rubbing my belly and saying I'm a big sister and, you know, stuff like that. So I think she's definitely as aware as a 2-year-old can be. Were you hoping for a boy, or are you happy with a girl? I think you can be both of those things at the same time.
To wrap it up, I was hoping for a boy, but we were happy with whatever we got. Yes. And that's all that matters.
I think we went into it expecting a girl. San was hoping for a boy, you know, just because another question is, like, do we plan to have more? Probably not. So this is our last chance to have a baby, and so obviously it would be fun to experience a boy. What would our boys look like? You know, how would they act and stuff? But I honestly probably would have chosen another girl if I had a choice, just because when you're thinking of the whole family unit, I just think it would be great to have 3 sisters. I would feel kind of bad for the boy, because maybe he like wouldn't be as close with them. I don't know, he definitely could be.
We don't know.
But I just think it's easier too in some ways when they're all the same gender, because they'll probably tend to like more of the same things and want to go the same places. And I don't know, there's pros and cons, but we went into it expecting a girl. We weren't trying for a boy. So yes, we're very happy. I think no matter what, when it's your last child, there's gonna be some disappointment no matter what, just because you're finishing your family, and it's just kind of a loss of you know, having more.
And we're just happy that we were able to do it one more time. Right. You know, like, if you've seen the history of our channel, you've seen all the highs and lows of going through pregnancy and IVF and all the stuff like that. So
well, we didn't do IVF,
but we were considering
it.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. But yeah, just happy that we were able to conceive without any extra, you know, medicine, science, doctor, whatever, you know. So it happened on its own this time, like we did with Brian. Right,
and to me, it just feels meant to be. And we may adopt one day, and maybe we'll adopt a little boy, you know. you know, we're just grateful the baby's healthy, doing fine, I'm feeling better, and we'll have this little tribe of girls. I don't know, I think it's exciting. I don't know. Have you picked a name for the baby? Yes. We're not sharing it, but...
Yeah, but it's... Go ahead and guess.
Yeah, guess.
You'll find out when they are born.
Yeah, when she's born, we'll tell you. But it's a name that was... There's been 2 names that were in the running for Bryony, and Bryony wasn't even in the running for Bryony. But when we found out she was a girl, the names just didn't quite feel right, and then Bryony popped onto the scene. And then another reason why I would have kind of been sad if it was a boy, not sad, or just slightly disappointed, is because I've loved the name that we chose for so long. I would have been sad not to use it, but it's tricky because of the spelling. That's what really got me. That's why we never used it for Bryony, but we feel pretty confident going into it. The girls are already calling the baby this. It's got good nicknames, it's got good literary background. Anyway, some of you may know, because I think we've talked about this name probably on old videos with Bryony of like potential names. I don't remember. So when will you move the girls into the same room? Probably by summer. Yeah,
probably right before the kid gets here.
Yeah, we're not in a hurry. I've been meaning to have Bryony nap in there, but I just kind of forget when it actually comes time for nap time. But there's no hurry, really. Are you going to have a baby registry, and if so, will you share it with us?
Probably not.
I don't know if that means like have you guys buy stuff for us, because I definitely don't want to do that.
Because we don't want that, and
we don't really need
a
much.
Girl, so we have all that stuff ready to go. Because Sarah saved a lot, all of that.
The clothes.
Planning for like this will be if our last child's a girl, we already have that stuff.
Right.
Had it been a boy, we have family members and friends that have all that stuff too. That we're gonna send us it. So
we're pretty much set on clothes. I do daycare, so I have a ton of stuff.
Really, we really don't buy a whole lot else. Probably, I mean, car seat wise, maybe, but
we'll do
that's something seats. Obviously we're gonna take care of on our own.
Right. So, well, we don't want you guys to buy us anything, of course.
Please don't.
Car seats, some toys. You know, as the time comes, diapers. I don't know. There's not a whole lot.
I saw a lot of t-shirts. I want to get them. So.
Yeah, get her. Yeah. Will you be making permanent choices when it comes to birth control?
I won't be.
No, we don't have a plan for it right now. We say this is likely our last child, but we don't feel certain right now to make the decision to do anything permanent, and I don't know if we ever will. Quite honestly, after going through infertility, it's just very scary to make that decision to like just close off that chapter for good, because you just never know how you might change your mind over time. So we'll probably do something else in the meantime. Okay, and then there were some questions about like the baby related to daycare. What happens to your daycare kids when you go on maternity leave? How long am I taking for maternity leave? How did I tell them? So I waited until I was, I think it was right before I told the world. So I think it was like 11 weeks when I told my daycare family. It was right after I had an appointment where I heard the heartbeat, so I wanted to confirm like there really was a baby in there before I told everybody, and you know, uprooted their lives a little bit. So I told them, I wrote a letter, and at pickup on a Friday I handed it to them, and you know, as gently as I could say, it was like, just let you know I'm pregnant and this letter details everything you need to know and whatnot. It's never easy, but everybody was so kind and gracious, and I had already talked to other providers in the area about potential backup. So as far as I know, everybody's planning to just find backup care for, I think it's 8 weeks I'm taking. And then, and I know the exact dates because I don't go into labor on my own. You know, it may change, and we'll have to figure that out if that happens, but I will be hopefully induced on August 30th, 10 days after my due date, have the baby by August 31st, because I want an August baby just for schooling purposes, so I can decide, we can decide what we want to do, and because we don't have that choice with Bryony. And then we will start my maternity leave until like mid-October, and it's not paid at all, so we're saving up for that. Well, then people ask, is the baby going to take Celia's place in the daycare? Not really. Technically, she'll still be here, you know, before and after school, so she'll still need my school age spot, but I don't really ever take school agers, so that's fine. But she still will count as a daycare kid because of that. But so no, and she doesn't really, I don't know, they don't compete for a spot really because it's my infant spot. So, and I didn't have to get rid of any daycare kids. I'm actually pretty low on numbers right now, and I'll have really low numbers in the fall. So I'm actually trying to find a couple kids, but it'll be fine. It might be kind of nice to kind of ease into it. Okay, so as far as marriage and parenting, here, maybe you read the questions for this.
Okay, this one is, how did you and your husband meet? Was it love at first sight? I'm going to address the second part of the question first. We don't believe in love at first sight.
Well, we were in elementary school. So.
I believe in lust at first sight, because that's what you see always first is the looks, and then you go based off of that if you're interested in that person or not. And we met like in elementary school. We grew up together all the way through high school. Didn't start dating until 2005.
Yeah.
Which we were in
junior year.
It's been so long.
I know.
How often do you get date nights just for the two of you? It's pretty rare, and we have to usually plan it at least. If I know I'm gonna have like a weekend off, that's when we might do it. But if not, it might be a Sunday night. It might be a Friday night. It kind of depends on where everything kind of lands out.
It's pretty impossible because of his schedule. Because we only know his schedule
a week,
not even a week in advance.
Yeah,
like we know, you'll probably set the schedule on like a Thursday for the next Monday through Sunday. So there's not a whole lot of time to plan, and usually, like, if he is off on the weekend, we're trying to prioritize family time. So I'd say once every few months we get like an actual date where we go out. I mean, we had a date weekend in January, which was nice. But it's just hard because weekend time is so precious, and when he's actually home on the weekend, it's like we really want to prioritize family time.
And there's a lot of things that needs to get done.
Yeah.
And I'm helping out a lot right now just to get our chaos in order.
So sick,
and just kind of getting tidy and clean.
We'd love more dates. It's just hard to schedule.
Right.
It's not like we can say we're gonna have a weekly date every night because we never know for sure when he's gonna be home, and then we have to find people to watch the kids and stuff. It's just really hard.
What do you admire most about each other?
You wanna go first?
I guess for Sarah, I really admire that she's just like super motivated, very dedicated, and she's just selfless. She puts others first before herself, which is a good thing to a degree, but I wish she would take more time for self-care.
I have to not feel selfless, so thank you for saying that. For Sam, definitely I think he's really humble. I appreciate that. Like, I don't think you realize like how smart you are or how hardworking you are. Like, he's really hard on himself, which can be a negative thing, but I think it's because he is so humble and he doesn't really realize how awesome he is. And I don't know, he's just very caring and loving and a really good dad, and he's just a really good guy. Okay.
All right.
Do you have nannies or do grandparents babysit sometimes? I'm hoping the person means like, do you have a babysitter? We don't have a nanny.
We had like a babysitter like 6 months ago, and that was like for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
On a date.
Well, my parents moved closer now, so that's really helped.
So that's our go-to people for babysitting.
And they love the girls.
They love it.
They don't
So it's
mind.
not like it's, And my parents, they're quite a ways away, and they haven't had them for a while, and that's because of the distance thing.
Right.
So other than that,
they will take them places
other than that,
sometimes.
we don't have a nanny. We don't have the funds for a nanny, and I think...
Well, why would we have a nanny?
Yeah, when she already does most of the...
But babysitter, I mean, maybe when our kids are a little older, I don't feel the most comfortable, especially now that they'll be 3.
Yeah.
Having somebody else watch them. People ask, how do we discipline and how do we deal with sibling fighting? First of all, like, we're still figuring it all out. We try to do the more respectful parenting approach from Janet Lansbury, but it's really hard, especially when you're tired at the end of the day and you're like, just stop. Like, why are you...
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Like, chill.
So, we're not the best about that kind of stuff.
And you're going to find that other parents are going to do different things.
Well, and every kid's so different. You're figuring it out. I mean, it's also still pretty new to us. And like with the sibling fighting, if they're fighting, it's an automatic separation. Usually, especially like if they're eating next to each other and smacking each other, I just automatically split them. Like they're doing it for no reason. So that's usually why. So as soon as we hear like the screaming and the crying, it's automatic separation, and that seems to be working for the most part. So yeah, sometimes we don't get involved, but once they're like crying, it's usually Bryony crying, you know, she's the younger one.
Yeah.
Or, you know, they're freaking out, then we'll separate.
Yeah, and they'll have alone time.
Because they, you know, they share a lot of their stuff all day. I get it, you know, it's hard on them, so I don't know. We're still figuring it out just as much as everybody else.
Personal.
Okay, personal. Do you guys plan on buying a bigger house in the future? Do you, oh, okay.
That's part one of the question. There's
well,
those are two questions. Anyway, bigger house in the future. Yes, of course.
Well, and I don't know necessarily if we'd buy a bigger house. We would buy a differently laid out house. But
it depends on how big our family, what our family needs. You know,
I think our house is like around 2,000 square feet, which I think is great. And we only really live in half of our house. So if I didn't do daycare, it'd be way big for us.
A family room, and how often would we be down there?
Plus the basement.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
so I guess the only thing that we would change about this house if we were just to stay in it like forever ever is to have enough room for...
Well, just wait, that's another question.
Oh, okay.
Somebody said, what is your favorite thing about your home, and if you could do one thing to it, money being no issue, what would it be?
So we are currently going to be doing certain renovations, which we'll discuss in the future.
Yeah.
But if I had to change this house right now, it would be attaching the garage, but keeping it heated, and then adding a space for a home gym. Really, that's all I really would want.
If I was gonna do anything, I'd want to add on a playroom off of the living room. It would be really nice for the girls to have their own space, but like still connected to the living area, that we could keep toys but like shut the door at the same time, like at the end of the day. And then attached garage would be so nice. And if money was no issue and I was still gonna be doing daycare, what I'd love is to like extend my daycare room all the way to the garage, and that's how the garage will be attached. And then add on upstairs too, and add a master suite. I mean, we would do a lot if money was no issue.
And then at that point, we might as well just buy a new house.
Yeah, our house would be way
it would be overpriced for this neighborhood. Way overpriced.
Yeah.
Disney World. Do we ever plan on taking them?
Yeah,
we do, but we want to make sure that they're going to be able to understand.
Yeah.
But I think right now, Bryony understands princesses. She loves Rapunzel.
Really hard,
she likes Frozen. But it's like, it's just so. I went in middle school, and that was just chaotic enough as it is.
I would say when our youngest is at least 4.
Yeah, we're in no hurry, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go so late that Celia's like past the age.
Yeah, but she probably can still appreciate it.
When this one's 4, she'll be like 9, 10. I think that would be perfect, and Bryony will be
totally fine.
Like 7.
She has a lot of princesses under her belt by then. You know?
Yeah, I think then and then she could go on rides. I don't want to go too young because they won't appreciate it. Do you plan to move states in the future? I don't know how to answer that. Yeah,
we do. But what is keeping us here is family, and that is like outweighs ever leaving, unless they come with us, which I don't think they would either.
I think in our heads it would be so nice to get away from the weather here. We love our city, we love
our community,
we love
how close we are to everything,
like honestly the only thing we don't really like is
the
snow, but it's such a huge deal when it's like 5 to 6 months of your year.
Yeah.
And it really does something to me. It's hard on the kids. Like it's rough.
Yeah.
So that's but the summers are amazing, you know.
To the point where it can shut down the whole city and you have a travel ban because there's so much snow. You know?
And it affects my mood. Yeah. Like I love being outside and going for walks and going to parks. Like we can't do a lot of that stuff in the winter very easily.
So we would probably move somewhere like southern, southeastern, that kind of area.
To like Texas.
We still really don't know really where. I want to go to Texas because barbecue and all that stuff. She wants the
like
coast,
the Carolinas or something,
ocean, and all that stuff like that. But you know.
And we do have some
we thought maybe we would be snowbirds when we retire or something.
Yeah, we'll see. I have no idea. Do you budget? Yes, strictly budgeting for a long time. Excuse me. And I just started following the Budget Mom, and I ordered her workbook. So I've been using Excel for the longest time. And now I'm going to try doing the pen and paper. We just haven't been the best about doing cash as much. Just because we do like Walmart pickup and it's just, you know, easier, especially when I'm always home and he's always leaving and I have the cash usually. Like it's just,
I don't want to carry a lot of cash on me either.
But we're trying to get back into really tracking everything right now. You know, there's room in the budget, so we just kind of we'll buy this or buy that or buy this. That wasn't, we have like a miscellaneous section, but
and it's not like we've been buying big things. It's kind of just tiny little,
no, just little things.
Whatevers.
But we want to get better, and we're, you know, saving up for the baby, but we're very on track with that. You know, I get lots of questions all the time about, you know, waking up early. How do you not get burnt out? Somebody said, were you raised that much differently than the rest of us? Your tank of gas seems to always be overly full. And they said it's amazing since I've been so sick. First of all, guys, I have not been super motivated and at all. I haven't been me at all for the past 2 months, and I've taken a lot off my plate. Most nights I was on the couch, San was making dinner, I couldn't even be in the same room.
It was like single parenting without her actually being, with her being here, because she was on the couch asleep a lot of the time.
Yeah, I was
and
just
couldn't eat, and like I had, you know, do dinner, get the girls cleaned up, laundry. I stepped up quite a bit. And
I haven't been waking up at 4. Like, I've just been doing the bare minimum, which, you know, it should be how it is, because I can't even give to my family, let alone my daycare and myself, if I'm still trying to do everything all the time and I'm so sick. So now I'm starting to get motivated again. I don't feel like I need 10 hours of sleep every night. And so it's a little easier now. But was I raised differently? I don't know, guys. No. I've always just been a very driven person, like self-motivated, I guess. Like, I've never been one to want to follow what everybody else is doing. I just want to do my own thing, and I think that's just it. Like, I have a purpose and a why behind why I do what I do, and I want to help people, and I love it, so that helps. I don't know if I was raised differently, because I was raised the way I was raised. I wasn't raised how somebody else was raised, so how would I know?
Yeah. We were both raised probably like, you need to work, and you got to work hard, you know, don't be lazy, you know, don't skate on by, make something of yourself, you know, don't be a POS.
Yeah, I think too, like, being on the dance team, I think stuff like that can really help, because I worked my butt off to make varsity, and then I was a captain, and I kind of came out of nowhere because I worked so hard. I was dedicated, and I think I really learned, like, if you set your mind to something and you stick with it and follow through even when it seems really hard, you will achieve it. And I've just been surrounding myself with those kind of mantras and books and stuff for many years now. Going through postpartum depression, I think, really honestly helped, because it made me turn my life around, and just change the way I think and change the way I do things and start new habits, and it just builds. And like somebody asked, what self-help book have you read that you would recommend for a non-reader? Talked about it a million times. It was the first book in our book club on Facebook, but The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. That really helped change my mindset, and I think that's a lot of where my motivation comes from, because I know if I just do these small things every day, over time they will compound and amazing things will happen. So I just know I have to stick to those things. And I think once the book talks about, if you change your philosophy, it will change your habits and it will change your life. And so I really worked on changing my philosophy. So I would say, I don't know, but I worked really hard in college too. I'm really hard on myself, and you only have this one life, you know, and I want to live it the best I possibly can.
While still being able to enjoy it too.
Yeah, and that's something I work on. San, are you still managing to do your carnivore diet, and what does Sarah think of it?
No, not currently. During the week I eat pretty much like, you know, you're just basically meat and dairy. And then on the weekends, just because it was the holidays, I wanted to not stress out so much about it. I let myself kind of let that slide, but I'm also was in like a bulking phase for, like, you know, putting on weight, putting on muscle, blah blah blah.
That's what I'm doing.
And that I let it slide. But once you're seeing this video, I'll probably be a week deep into my more strict version of it all. I won't be eating so many more of the fun stuff, we'll call it. Donuts and stuff like that. Yeah, so no more splurging. I'm gonna get crack down on it, get ready for summer, slim down a little bit. My shirts and pants are feeling tight. But other than that, I mean, it's great. I've turned on a couple people to it. They're really interested in it, and it's been helping them with inflammatory issues, health issues, and things like that. But Sarah has her opinions on it.
Well, I'm very supportive of it. I didn't have really any opinions on it till I got pregnant, but now the things he eats every night are eggs and burgers and
ground beef. Yeah.
If I could tell you what the two main triggers for most pregnant women when they're nauseous, it's eggs and ground beef. And so that has been really hard, but you know, I'm supportive of him. You know, he got abs when he started doing that, so I wasn't complaining. That's the only hard thing. And I you know, it is harder when one of us is not eating the same as the rest of the family. But, you know, I've had my time when I was doing keto and I wasn't eating the same. So, and I'm excited to, like, be able to eat foods again and be able to cook, like, meal prep for our family so that it's really easy at night and he can make his stuff and I'll just, like, reheat or whatever.
And it's not like it really has affected the grocery budget, if that's kind of what you're wondering, just because I was buying, like, extra things, but the thing I've been buying the most every week, honestly, has just been the ground beef chub and eggs, and everything else is like the cheese and stuff is already here. And at work I can eat at work because I'm a chef. And Bryony, you know, she loves eating whatever I eat, so she gets some of that too, so it's not like it's
and I think it's helped her to eat a lot of meat.
So
she's not as
she's great about that.
Okay, as far as YouTube, so one of the questions was, have you ever been recognized out in public from your YouTube channel? Yes, you have once.
I have once, like at a play place, and us together once at a Goodwill, and you a couple times?
A couple times. I have, like, at a childcare conference and at the doctor's office once. That was funny.
That's right.
And yeah, not a ton, you know, but we've had people kind of look at us weird, but I never know if that's just because we look weird or...
It's more interesting when our friends that we grew up with or we know personally, like, hey, by the way, we watch you on YouTube.
Yeah, that's always kind of interesting.
Like, what? You do?
Yeah, well, so another question was, does everybody know about your channel?
Yeah.
If so, do you ever feel uncomfortable about sharing, knowing that everyone can see it? I mean, to be honest, like, we're pretty private people, which seems opposite if you have a YouTube channel, but that's what I love about it. I can totally control what we share. So the stuff we do share, we feel comfortable sharing, and I would talk to anybody about if they were talking to me on the street or at the grocery store or whatever. But, like, do we go up to our friends like, hey, I have a YouTube channel, check it out? No, most people found out about it. We weren't necessarily hiding it, it's just we are private and we felt kind of weird about it.
It's not like we're blasting people on our personal Facebooks every time we upload something, every time we have video ideas, blah, blah, blah.
I'd rather them not see it just because it's... It's just weird.
And the ones that know, they're like, cool, whatever.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Like, we don't really talk about
it. I don't share it with anybody at work just because I'm trying to keep those two separate, and I don't think they would quite understand it.
Yeah, honestly. Some of my daycare parents have watched, some... Like, they all are given a sheet about it and know about it, are aware about it, but I don't know how many actually, like, watch. But I'm aware of that, you know, when I put stuff out there. You know, I'm very, very, very selective about how much I share about daycare and what I share. And my daycare day in the lives are very thoughtfully filmed. We make sure to protect
their privacy as per their contract.
But also wanting to help the greater community. That is hard to do without really showing anything, you know. Okay, and then somebody else, you know, people who are considering doing YouTube, like, they're asking, like, what are our favorite things and what are our least favorite things about it? I guess I do it more, but do you have any?
I guess, like, when I was helping out a lot more and putting out content, like, on the channel, which I wish I could still do, I guess it's just being creative, because, like, that's something that, like, I get to do at my job, but that's all just condensed into food. Well, I love drawing, I love doing painting, all that stuff too, and that's probably my favorite, the creative aspect where you get control of what to do. Right,
that's definitely my, like, that and just the community are my favorites, cool. And like helping people. Like, when I get messages about people, like, saying, thank you so much, I relate to you so much, or I started a daycare because of you, or you're such an inspiration, like, you helped me get through depression, like, stuff like that makes me just, like, that's where my heart is. That's why I share. I don't share.
And that's just more, I think I'm more cool. Motivation. Like, you guys are wondering where the motivation comes from. Well, it comes from you guys and the community and randos that just message her.
And there's not many working moms on Facebook. And even before I became a mom or a working mom, I've had such a passion for that group of people and how hard they work for their families and how underserved they are many times by their jobs and our country and our laws and stuff like that. And I just really want to be a voice to that, at least from my perspective. And so that's something I love doing and helping people, and I love creating. Least favorite part, negative comments for sure.
Yeah. People misinterpreting what you are trying to convey, because it's hard, because
it's impossible.
You're not sitting, you don't know us personally, and you're not having a one-on-one conversation. It's like,
and I can't clarify
what is recorded is what's put out, and then you're like,
right.
oh, I should have said that differently, and then you're just, well, it's, you know what I mean? So
yeah, and I think too, the fine line of protecting our children while also trying to be relatable. If we never talk about them at all or ever show them, it's not as relatable, but we also really want to protect their privacy, and especially when they're in school, like, you know, I don't want to be sharing tons of stuff about them. So it's very tough, and I think especially now as Celia got older, that became even more and more important to us. Like when they're a baby, pretty much all babies are pretty much the same in a lot of ways. They do the same things. But now, you know, every kid has their own struggles, and every parent has their own struggles. So that's been hard. And, you know, it takes a lot of time, but so that is hard too. And always trying to always be motivated to do it when I'm tired. Okay, daycare related questions.
Ask you these. I can chime in. This one I can chime in on. What are your recommendations for standing up for yourself so that parents don't take advantage of you? I'm a people pleaser, and confrontation makes me so uncomfortable. Same. Ooh,
same. I'm horrible at confrontation. If I can, I will put out a letter addressed to all parents, like if it's about late pickups or whatever, just saying, like, you know, I've done that because it was an issue with a few families, and I wasn't enforcing my late fee, and so, well, I didn't have a late fee at the time, so then I put out a letter saying I'm changing my late fee to this. I had all the parents sign it, and then nobody was coming late anymore. And so I guess it's maybe more passive aggressive, but it also I think is kind of more of like a business approach, like a professional approach. Like, I'm not just calling you out, I'm just saying now this is an even playing field. You know, if I can, I will kind of like text, not resolve an issue through text, but just say, like, you know, I'd love to sit down and talk about this issue, you know, that kind of thing, and then set up a time so I know to be prepared for the confrontation. It's hard though. That is probably my absolute least favorite part of daycare, because it is a very personalized, relationship-based business, and there are times where you have to let people down. There's times when you have to hurt feelings or get hurt feelings and still see the people. It's very hard. And
part of that, if you are having issues like talking to people, and like, for example, if you have a parent that's kind of difficult to like talk to, or like you feel like there's going to be some hostility, animosity, if they have your husband or somebody like around, in case things get a little out of control or
maybe
something.
Not right
so like,
there,
not saying that they can jump in and like attack somebody, but it's like your safety, and it's so they can come down and say, hey, do not talk to so and so like that, or like, especially
if you're terminating care. I think it's very good to have somebody else there.
And if your husband is there, then the person talking to you will more likely be a lot more
we've seen
kind,
that
or active,
where they look like they were gonna say something until they saw Stan standing there, and then
and I can do anything, but it's like, you know, just the presence of another adult there, then they can't.
I'm a short, redheaded, freckled 30-year-old woman who, you know, I'm not a dominating presence, you know, so I just feel like sometimes some personalities can take advantage of that. So
this is kind of okay, so how do you teach kids shapes, numbers, letters, colors, etc.?
I mean, I do the Funshine Express curriculum. My biggest advice is just let it come naturally, incorporate it into play, look at letters in books, point out shapes when you notice them on walks, or like, oh, I spy a rectangle sign.
If you have story times, ask the kids, what color is
right
Curious George wearing? Or
right.
If he's wearing
that is the absolute best way,
yeah.
is just to learn through life. But I do more direct teaching, not because I believe that it's the best way, but because honestly, that's what parents want to see, is that their kids are being taught on a daily basis. So I do it. Does it help? Yeah. I mean, it caters more towards
and it's kind of getting them kind of ready to be in that kind of structure anyway.
But, you know, I could go on and on about my opinions on that. But, like, kids like our daughter Celia, it worked wonders for her. She's a very academic... driven. Yes. Like, I think the school system is set up for kids like her. Who can sit, who can learn, who can absorb, who's just absorbing everything, eager to learn. But there are plenty of kids who need to learn through doing, through action, through, you know, that kind of stuff.
I think Bryony is kind of like that.
Right, and so she doesn't know all her letters yet. Celia already knew all her letters and sounds by the time she was 2, because she's just that kind of kid. It's not like she's brilliant or anything, it's just that's her thing. And Bridie is a more just curious, on the go kind of kid, so she recognizes the letter B now because it's important to her. It's her name. So I just think, you know, finding ways to tie it to the kids and then just make it casual. Don't make it a rigid thing. That's the best way they learn, is just through repetition of seeing it in their everyday life. And they're gonna learn it all. Nobody graduates most of the time without knowing their shapes, their letters, their colors, their numbers, whatever.
I guess I'll let you pick, because some of these...
do you see yourself with the same daycare business in the future? I don't know. I mean, do I plan on doing daycare for the end of my career? No. But I know a bazillion people say that, and then their kids go off to school and they're like, wow, this is so much easier. So we'll see. I mean, I don't intend for it to be a forever thing, but I also don't have any immediate plans to stop. But I would, you know, have to have more money coming in other ways that was stable, that made me feel secure, you know. And we've thought about maybe Sam joining the daycare one day. You know, it's just up in the air.
And I like my job. I really enjoy it, and it's really rewarding right now. And I'm in a really good spot. The company I work for is great. I got great employees, you know, benefits, all the adult things, you know. And, you know, I'm seeing myself grow annually in my position. So, yeah, I'm complacent isn't the word, but, like,
comfortable.
I think we're good right now.
We don't have a big reason to change.
There's nothing to chase the shiny ball down over there, you know.
And we have dreams, but I think, you know, everybody would love to retire at 40 or, you know, whatever.
Of course, you know, and we have the side business of this and other things too, you know, but right now, like, we're busy enough as it is with our kids and family and businesses and are managing our own lives. We barely have enough time just for each other or something most of the time. You know.
Do you share with your husband about the frustration you might have at times as a daycare provider? For sure. I also would recommend having a good friend who does daycare if you can. I have 2, so we can text throughout the day or call during nap or whatever. You know, we don't talk about specifics necessarily or names or pictures or whatever, but, you know, we can talk about examples like, oh, a baby pooped all over the pack and play today. You know, just to vent, because you're so isolated when you do this job, especially if you're by yourself. You know, at other jobs you can, like, relate and vent and commiserate with each other, and it just helps to offload to somebody, and it's really nice to have friends. And Stan, I think, is a really good supporter, and he understands a lot of the daycare because he's seen it. He's had his days off. He's helped me. So he gets, you know, the frustration, where I know some providers' husbands don't necessarily get it.
And I think it's super important, like, if your husband, to get your husband on board with this stuff. So he's aware of, like, the daily struggles, your scheduling,
that you're
how
not
things
having
need,
time
how
to clean
things
the
are
whole
structured, where things need to go or put away. Like, all that is part of. I'm not perfect.
It affects the whole family.
It affects the whole family more so than you think. So it's important to make sure that they understand that and that they respect that too.
Right. I like this question. Parents who contact after daycare hours that are constantly, like, texting you about stuff that can wait. I think, you know, Have
you had that issue?
Not usually. I think if I did, I just probably wouldn't respond, and I would just address it at pickup.
Yeah.
Or at drop off the next day. And I think after enough times of them texting and not getting a response and you talking about it at drop off, they'd probably get the hint. You know, I don't mind parents texting me after hours here and there. You know, it's not a big deal, and I'll text them during the workday just to give them a heads up, because sometimes by the time they pick up, I've forgotten, or, you know, I'm distracted, or they have to get going or whatever. So, you know, maybe sometimes they're kind of doing the same thing. Or you could ask them, like, if it's just like little texts like, oh yeah, I just wanted to remind you that this is happening tomorrow, and could you send home that or whatever. Maybe just ask them to write it down and just give it to you at drop off the next day, so that you're not having to keep track of all these texts.
And hopefully, like, your parents of your daycare will respect your time off of the day, you know, your end time. Unless it's like an emergency, hey, by the way, Johnny's sick and ain't coming tomorrow. Then cool, I need to know that, you know, so then, you know, we can prepare.
And I get little texts here and there, but in general.
But if they're like, hey, what are you serving tomorrow? It's like, just don't worry.
Yeah, I would just not respond. It off. If like, it's happening a bunch, I just wouldn't respond and address it at drop off.
Right.
There's a few questions about advertising. I'm pretty sure I have a video up about advertising. I will link that below. But other than that, I think we got through most of them. This is a very long video. Well, thank you guys if you sat through that whole thing. If you have any further questions, make sure you head over to our community tab and comment there, since YouTube has disabled our comments about a year ago because of featuring minors. Why they enable them on some and not on others, I don't understand, but whatever. I've tried many times to get them to come back on and they don't. So comment over there and I will try to pop in and respond. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching.
If you want to follow us on social media, like I said, I will be starting my carnivore cart, we'll call it, tomorrow, but when you're seeing this, it'll be a week in. So I'm at SanWLG. She's at Sarah WLG. Sarah posts more frequently than I do, but I need to get back on it. So.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.